What is up, and welcome back to the Braves Hip Coil, where you get your series hitter meetings before every series. And I am joined once again with Mr. Coach Ken Anderson. Ken, how are you doing today?
Just went through a 6-1 road trip. I'm doing awesome.
Yeah, man, the Braves did absolutely solid in Washington, man. They went 3-1 and they swept the Phillies. The Braves are riding high 18-8 season record, and there's nobody even sniffing them right now in the division, which is nice to say. So before we hop into the next series chat, we're gonna do a little recap of our picks to click. Ken, I will let you read off your pick to click first. Who was your pick to click, good sir?
Mr. Matt Olson, and he delivered 6 for 17, two doubles, one homer, six RBIs. He had a very good series. When we needed him, he had big hits. Probably the biggest one he had was last night, the night before. We had a 3-run bomb that kind of put the game away. He had big hits. And the funny thing is, he had the one home run, but he could have had three more. So,
Yeah, it was like what, game one, game two, where he was just kind of like looking up to the sky, like, that's like another one I've missed tonight.
yeah.
Matty O definitely looked good. But Ken, I think there's just one person who is just a wee bit better this series. Not by much, not by much, just a little bit. And that is my pick to click chat, Mr. Money Mike Harris the second. He was 7 for 16 with two bombs and seven RBIs. And I can't tell you how many times he came up to the plate when this team needed a little kick in the rear end to get going, and he would spark the offense at the bottom or middle part of the lineup. He was absolutely fantastic and continues his reputation of being the Nationals owner. So, with that being said, Ken, we got the Phillies coming into town, and they are continued to be a wounded dog. At this point, they got to be on life support right now because I think they're in the midst of a 9-game losing streak. They just got walked off by the Cubs to finish off getting swept. They got swept at home the series before against the Braves, and now you're coming into Atlanta. Ken, what you got so far on this series preview?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a hurt dog, and that can go either way. We'll see how the Phillies come in. The Cubs really got them going. They just went 0-6 against the Cubs. They got swept, and then they got swept in Chicago. And of course, we put a sweep in between them. In their defense, this is one of the toughest stretches they play with Chicago and us, because I would say a lot of people had the Cubs winning the Central and us at the top of the East. So it's a tough stretch, but they're just not playing very well. The one thing is, and we'll get in that on the podcast, is they are starting to hit the ball a little bit, but the pitching just is really hurt. Duran's out on the IL. And the big thing in this series is JT Realmuto just went to the IL. And how the pitchers get affected by JT being out, he's such a great pitch caller, is going to be very interested. So it's going to be interesting how the Phillies do. I know everybody's cautious, but it's going to be an interesting series. And of course, we get the return of one of the best pitchers in baseball. So that's going to be fun, too.
That will be fun to watch. Also, chat. This is when you put down the dog.
Mm-hmm.
This is when you put down that hurt dog. If you're the Atlanta Braves, you have a chance to put them, I think, 11 games back, something like that.
They're 9.5.
You can just
They're 9.5 right now, so you can definitely get them in the double digits by just taking two out of three.
yeah, this if you put them double digits, I don't care at what point in the season it is. When you get double digits behind, that is hard to make up because even if the team plays 500 baseball for the rest of the way, that's leading the division. You have a hard road ahead to catch them. So, with that being said, it is a 3-game set between the Braves and Phillies in Atlanta. Mr. Snicker is getting his number retired, so that's going to be fun. That's on Friday night, right, Ken?
Saturday night. Saturday night.
Saturday night. Okay, so that's going to be game two. Man, we got a lot of things going on in game two. But game one, we have Andrew Painter. Ken, talk to me a little bit about Mr. Painter and what you saw from his last start.
It's interesting because Andrew's such a good pitcher. The one thing he had problems with was really locating his fastball up and against us, but he threw the ball well. He just got in some deep counts, and we talked on the previous pod to beat Andrew. That's what you have to do. You have to lay off that pitch he's trying to throw at the top of the zone, and that stuff that he breaks away from you, let it go to. The Braves did a good job of that, of getting him deep in count. So I think that really affected Andrew in the fact of, you know, we made him pitch. I think it was 22 pitches, 1 inning, and 20 pitches. And if you do that to Andrew, that's the way to go with him. So, but let's face it, he is a tough ride, and as we saw, he can really throw the ball. It really comes out pretty out of his hand, and we'll have to be on our game to beat him second go around coming this Friday.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. Mr. Painter is a tough customer, but like you said, Ken, I really liked how the guys worked counts. So we're just going to go over a quick glance of Mr. Painter again as a refresher because we've already gone over it in previous hip coil episodes. So Mr. Painter has a four-seamer, a slider, a sinker, a curve, a split, and a sweeper. His fastball averages 96 miles an hour. Again, he is going to try to go below the zone to left-handed hitters. He likes to establish the fastball inside. He likes to expand below the zone with the curve, split, and slider. Righties, he likes to establish the fastball in the outside part of the plate. He will run the sinker inside from time to time, but he also wants to expand away with the slider and sweeper. So the approach for the lefties is going to be hunt the fastball changeup window. So again, you want to kind of see the fastball at the belt or at the thigh, and you want to try to see it out over the plate. You do not want to get the ball in. If you read spin, take it unless it is a hanging pitch because the Braves, again, they read spin really well, in my opinion. So sit fastball early and hunt the fastball. And if you get a changeup and you look foolish out in front, there's been many hitters in the big leagues and in the history of the big leagues that have been out in front of them with a changeup. So you're just going to have to make the adjustment. And once you start recognizing the changeup out of the hand, it'll get a little bit better. But that's my approach for the lefties. Righties, fastball slider window. For me, you want to look in, or I wouldn't even look in. If he paints you on the inside part of the plate, I would just take it until you get 2 strikes. You're gonna have to look middle away, and you got to hunt the fastball away. You read spin off the plate. So fastball out over the plate, thigh high, around the belt. That's the one that you want, and you want to think right center field and drive it. If you read spin, and it starts on the outer third, it's probably going to be a ball. So if you're reading spin, make sure that ball starts inner third or right down the middle so you have a chance to drive it the other way. So, and also, again, before you expand the zone inside, make sure he is painting the inside part of the plate. If he only hits it one time, but he can't hit it again, I would completely eliminate the inside corner if I was a right-handed hitter. Ken, you got anything else on Mr. Painter, or are you ready to move on to game two?
We can move on. You hit it right. We just got to have the same approach. We did a good job of getting them deep in counts. We do that, and we should be okay Friday night.
Ken, game two. Not only is it the return of Brian Snitker and getting his number retired in game two, but for the Phillies, they're getting their number one back. Mr. Zach Wheeler is making his return. Talk to me about him. I know he's one of your favorite pitchers in the big leagues. Talk to me about him a little bit.
He is, and we had the blessing of when Scholar, my son, who's a really good pitcher, was 10. Zach was 14, and we had the same pitching coach. So I've known Zach. He's an outstanding person, and we all know that he's going through this health scare with the blood clots. So it's going to be an emotional night for the Wheeler family in general. It's going to be an emotional night for Zach because he's going to finally get on the rubber. With that said, um, even with all that, it's going to be interesting how he throws because when he was on, he was definitely one of the top 5 pitchers in baseball. He has a fastball at the top of the zone that is nasty. He can throw a sinker that buries into hitters. He can spot his splitter. He's just got an arsenal that makes it very difficult. And the difference in speed between the top end of his fastball to his off speed is tremendous. But with that said, him coming off the injury, what we have seen so far in the minor leagues, the difference is not as great as it was. So it'll be interesting to see how Zach approaches a major league lineup, the first time. with it, not that big difference. But I will say he's going to be pumped coming home and pitching in this season's debut. So he could be elevated a little bit on that fastball. So we'll see. But he's a tough ride, good human being, and we all wish the best. We just hope our Braves are able to beat him Saturday night.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We hope that. But for Mr. Wheeler, if y'all haven't kept up with his minor league stuff, his fastball velocity is down to around 93 miles an hour right now on average. That doesn't mean he can't get over 93. It's just saying what he's averaging right now, and that it's playing a little bit below his. I would say a good bit below what he normally averages on his fastball. His carry's not as good. It doesn't have the IVB and vertical break like it normally does. So, and that is the carry through the zone where the ball looks like it is rising. So that has been the biggest notice, but his off speed is still there. So he can, and Zach Wheeler, he can locate all of his pitches in the zone where he wants to on most nights. So he can still pitch at a high level. So with that being said, he's got a four-seamer, a cutter, a sinker, a sweeper, a split, and a curveball. So this is all going to be based off his 2025 and what he did then, because now he's a new pitcher. We have no idea how he's going to plan of attack, so we got to go based off of 2025. So for left-handed hitters, they are going to have it pretty rough. Zach throws the kitchen sink at him. He's going to wear out the outside corner to left-handed hitters, but he's going to keep them honest inside, and he will have the tendency to front door the sinker against them as well. So that's where you're going to keep the guys honest. Zach has a lot of tunnels that he can exploit with the left-handed hitter, so it's going to be really important for the lefties to pick a window and stick to it. Right-handed hitters actually, in my opinion, have the easier time because really you only have to worry about his fastball and his sweeper and the cutter. That's only 3 pitches, and 2 of them are heading in the same direction. He will bust you in with the sinker, but again, unless he is absolutely painting that sinker inside, in my opinion, you just let it go and you stay looking out over the plate. So, for the left-handed hitters, Ken, I am telling them to hunt the fastball and the splitter. Zach knows the Braves can handle spin pretty well, especially the lefties. Doesn't mean he's not going to throw it, but I think he knows that they see spin fairly well and that they struggle against a good changeup. I think the book is out on that. And his fastball velo has been down early for Zach, so to see the ball, you want to see the ball up. You want to see it up around the belly button because you can get on top of 93, and you want it to start on the inside. I wouldn't even go inside quarter. I'm going to say inner third to outer third, and you want to attack the fastball when you get it in the zone because when you get to 2 strikes, you're going to have to cover a lot. It's not going to be just that window. It's going to be inside, outside, up, down. And the big reason why is because he can front door the sinker, and oh yeah, he can also back foot the sweeper and cutter to the left-handed hitter's back foot. So hunt the fastball and the splitter window. Try to get the fastball up, out over the plate, and let it fly when you get the fastball, and do not miss it. For the right-handed hitters, it's going to be a pretty simple approach for these guys. So for me, there's 2 ways you can go about attacking. You can hunt the sinker inside early in the count because I feel like Zach loves to get ahead with the sinker 0-0 just to get a strike on the board so he can really go to work. So if you want to, you can hunt that pitch in the first 2 to 4 pitches until you get to 2 strikes. Then you got to switch gears. So the other approach is going to be the fastball, sweeper, and cutter window. For this approach, you want to see the ball start at the mid-thigh or belt height, and you want it to start on the inner third to the outer third of the plate. This will keep you focused on all 3 of those pitches in the zone. Make him paint the inside corner before you expand your zone. I would even make him paint the outside before I would even consider offering anything that's on the outside corner. So, righties, make sure you're hunting a window. You can hunt the sinker early in the count if you want to, but for me, I would try to get something outside, outer third, outside corner, middle if you can, for it to be a fastball, a cutter, or a sweeper. Otherwise, I am taking until I get to 2 strikes. I am hunting that window if I'm a right-handed hitter. Ken, what you got on Mr. Wheeler?
It's really spot on analysis, Ryan. I like it. And one of the guys who kind of gives Zach a little issues a little bit is Riley because he's able to hit that. He wants to bury that sinker, and Riley jumps on a lot of first pitches, and he's had success. Right now, Riley's not going well, so that's it's going to be interesting. You're right. He's it's spot on. I'm going to make him hit the corners and try to get him get ahead in counts, and then that way it kind of takes a couple of his off speed off the table. He's got a couple off speed. He's only going to throw you when he's ahead in counts. So if you can get ahead in counts here, it's going to be big against that. So I think you're spot on here. If Riley was going better, I would like to have Riley have a good night. But right now, Riley is kind of in one of those little funks again. So maybe he'll get home, kiss Anna and the babies, and feel better, and he'll have a good night Friday and be feeling good Saturday because he normally has good swings against Zach. It'd be interesting to see what kind of swings. I haven't delved into it. What Dom Smith might be able to do against that because I can see Dom taking him over the shortstop's head with a little pop too. So it's a tough ride, and like I said, it'll be an emotional night, and so let's take advantage of it. He could be a little hot and have a tough time throwing strikes in that first inning as well. So let's see how we approach him, and hopefully we'll have a good night against him.
I think the big thing is going to be for both sides is how is his fastball appearing, how the velocity is, what the carry is on it, and how much he can work off the fastball. Because if the fastball is not on, it's going to make his secondary stuff a whole lot more hittable. So it's either going to be a really good night for Mr. Wheeler, it's going to be probably a pretty bad night with the way most of the offense is swinging the bat right now. But with that being said, we're moving on to the final game of the series, Mr. Aaron Nola. Ken, this guy has been around for what seems like 40 years. Talk to me about Mr. Nola.
Mr. Nola is a stable in Philadelphia, and if they would have won a World Championship, he'd probably have a chance to have his number retired. So he's gave his heart and soul. He's your typical Texan pitcher. He's going to come to you with a kitchen sink. He has a pretty good fastball. His fastball's not like it used to be. Um, really good curveball that he tries to get you out on. He has other off speed. But you have seen the deterioration of Aaron Nola. I think he's thrown so many innings. He's gave his heart for Philadelphia. And I don't think there's a Philly fan that will say a negative. Well, excuse me. Sorry, I forgot about being Philadelphia. They'll be plenty of negative words, but they don't really mean it because he's gave his heart and soul, and you can just see he's at the end of his career. But with that said, anybody at the end of the career, they still got one more in them. If anybody's ever watched the movie Perfect Game, so we got to be on our A game. He's not going to blow it by us, so let's get up there and hit that fastball and let's get some runs because he's not that kind of flamethrower anymore, but he's still a really good pitcher.
He can be a very good pitcher, but his command and his movement have to be on nowadays because he doesn't have the extra little oomph in his back pocket anymore. So let's get into the pitch mix, Chad. He's got a four-seam fastball, a cutter, a curve, a changeup, and a sinker. Left-handed hitters are going to see a mix of the four-seam, sinker, and curve, as well as a little bit of the changeup with him living on the outside part of the plate. He will bust hitters in with the four-seam to keep them honest and try to front door the sinker from time to time to put them away. Put away pitches for him is going to be the changeup down and away and the back foot curveball. He loves the back foot curveball to left-handed hitters. That's going to be his big put away pitch for the lefties. Righties, they're going to be seeing a lot of four-seamers, a lot of cutters, some curveballs, and some sinkers. He will use the sinker to run in on the right-handed hitters while dotting the four-seam away in order to set up the cutter going off of the plate away as well as the curveball. So for me, left-handed hitters hunt the fastball curveball window. I would completely throw out the changeup right now because he heavily relies on those two pitches. You want the fastball up out over the middle of the plate. You can go inner to outer third of the plate, starting around your mid-thigh to belly button. You can have that big of a window because you can read the curve spin pretty well out of Nola's hands. That's been his biggest problem this year is a lot of guys are reading that right out of the hand. But you have to have the discipline to lay off the ones that start at the thigh level in order to catch up to the heaters that are there. The heaters that start at the thigh are the ones that are hittable. He's going to throw them there because he wants you to chase the curveball later in the count. It's going to be up to you to lay off of that because most hitters read it, but they think they can hit it. So it's up to you guys to lay off of the breaking balls down below the zone. Right-handed hitters, you're going to have the fastball cutter window. I know the curveball is going to be his put-away pitch, but again, you can read the curveball spin out of the hand. You have to be disciplined to lay off of the curveballs that are out of the zone and recognize the hangers. He's going to try to tunnel the four seam and the cutter on the outside part of the plate, and that's where you can get him. You want the ball to start over the middle to outer third of the plate, around the mid thigh to the belly button. That's going to be perfect for the cutter and the fastball. This is going to allow you to hunt that window while leaving adjustability for the sinker if it starts on the outside and comes back over the plate, or if it starts on the outer third and ends up down and in where you can just drop the barrel on it. His put-away pitch, again, is probably going to be the curveball down and away. You should be able to read the spin, and if you wanted to, you can probably pick some times when you can hunt the sinker, but you got to pick your spots and understand that he's not going to double up on that pitch very often. So, Ken, that is what I got on Mr. Aaron Nola. Do you have anything else on him?
The only thing else is we've been trying to tell you what's the pitcher that we can't fail against each series. Not that they're a weak pitcher, but it's the one that we have to beat. And we've been spot on with the first four. We were 4-0 against those guys, and the Braves. This is the guy here we have to beat. He's the weaker of the three. I know Zach's coming back, and there's a big question, but this is the guy that our offense should be able to get 5 or 6 runs in that game. Not all off Nola, but definitely get 5 or 6 runs off in that game. And this is the game that I think we should win on Sunday afternoon. Probably also because our ace is going that game. So if our offense does what it's supposed to do, this is the game that we should win in the series for sure.
100%. You got to beat Aaron Nola, and obviously in game one we've already beaten Andrew Painter. I feel more comfortable against Painter than I do Wheeler. I know Wheeler's hurt. I know he's coming back from injury, but it's still Zach Wheeler at the end of the day. And until that dude comes out and proves that he's going to give up 8 earned runs and he's just not the same guy anymore, I ain't buying that narrative. I'm sorry. That's just me. But we're going to move on to the bullpen. So the 2 relievers we're going with this series, since Duran is on the IL, we're going with Jose Alvarado. We already kind of went over him. And Orion Kerkering. Did I pronounce that right, Ken? Orion
100%.
Look at my South Georgia education there paying off, chat. Here we go. So we're going to start with Mr. Alvarado. He throws 2 pitches. Well, technically 3, but you might as well throw out the curveball. Sinker and cutter. He's going to throw them. So he's going to be a little bit more sinker heavy to the left-handed hitters to stay on the inside part of the plate. He will expand away with the cutter, try to get him to chase. Right-handed hitters, he likes to stay on the inside part of the plate with the cutter. So my approach for both hitters, pick one pitch. Pick a pitch and hunt it. And you're going to get it. Now, whether or not it's in the zone or not, you're going to have to wait and see. But pick one pitch and sit on it. And then when you get it in the zone, do not miss it. And if you don't get it, just take it, because there's a good possibility, Ken, he's going to throw it outside of the zone because he likes to walk people. So with that being said, we're moving on to Mr. Kerkering. Mr. Kerkering has a 4-seam, a sinker, a sweeper, and a split. And his fastball velocity is, I wouldn't even say mid-90s. It's going to be upper 90s, right around 100 miles an hour. Kid can throw the ball. Left-handed hitters are primarily going to see a fastball and a sweeper. He has added a split, but he's not 100% comfortable with it yet, and he's only throwing it like 5% of the time, and that's 2 lefties. So I would still hunt fastball sweeper. Righties is going to be the same thing. You're going to see the 4-seam and a heavy dosage of the sweeper. He does add a sinker in there to right-handed hitters to keep them honest, though, on the inside part of the plate to open up the sweeper away. So my approach for my lefties for Mr. Orion, hunt the fastball sweeper window and eliminate the split. If he paints it, you tip your hat and you move on to the next day. You want the fastball about thigh high because it's hard to get on top of 100 miles an hour. And you want it out over the plate so you can get your arms extended because it's hard to catch up to 98 on the inside part of the plate. I'll keep it a $110 with you. This is going to allow you to at least cover the outer portion of the plate with the fastball and allow you to be able to adjust to the sweeper that is coming into you if he makes a mistake. I will say you better make him paint the inside corner with a fastball before you even expand your zone with 2 strikes, because his sweeper is absolutely elite and he can make you look like a buffoon if he starts that on the same plane and it comes in and hits you right in the gut and you swing at it. So keep in mind that I would see the ball out over the plate, and that would be the area that I'm hunting if I'm a lefty. For the right-handed hitters, it's pretty simple. You're going to hunt the fastball in the sweeper window and hunt it away because you're not going to be able to probably catch up to 100 miles an hour unless you're looking for it, and he doesn't come inside very often. So you want to hunt the fastball the entire way and fight off the sweeper when you get to 2 strikes. So in my opinion, completely eliminate the breaker because when I tell you his sweeper is elite, it is elite, and you got to get on the fastball. So unless you're at 2 strikes, completely get rid of it. Attack the fastball middle away and the split and fight off the split and sweeper with 2 strikes. Do not give up on the ball starting off the plate though, because it could be the sinker, and that might be the pitch that you get that you can absolutely destroy. So don't give up on that pitch either. I would stay on all pitches and see them into the glove because he can run that sinker in. That doesn't mean we want to hunt every single pitch, but that means you want to stay in on every single pitch. It means you want to be locked in when the pitch is coming in, not just stepping out of the box because it's not where you want it to begin. Ken, that is what I have on Mr. Orion Kerkering. Do you have anything else on these two gentlemen?
You got to sit hard. Yeah, that's on both of them. Alvarado, definitely want to get him in the strike zone. He will walk you. Ozzie has a great approach against Jose Alvarado. So whatever Ozzie is doing, he's doing it right. That's one of the guys he does right. They should pass that down and they should listen to him. Kerkering, you cannot hit his sweeper. You can't hit it. So might as well sit dead red. If he makes you look dumb, makes you look dumb. Basically, for me, I'm telling my right-handed hitters, if that thing starts breaking away, starts moving an inch, hold up. If he spots that fastball on the outside corner, then give it to him because I don't see you can humanly hit his sweeper. So I think you're spot on with both these guys. Hopefully, we'll have leads and they'll just both be in mop-up duty.
I agree, but I will say our offense did pretty decent against them last series. So I'm not. I mean, our offense has been really good against a lot of guys here lately. So we've been blessed with that. So let's move on to our picks to click for the Braves and Phillies series. Ken, who are you going with to click?
I really want to pick Riley, but I can't pick him after watching his last few games. So I'm going to go somewhere else. So I'm going to go with a sneaky one. I think he's a sneaky one to pick right here. But I'm actually going to say that Yastrzemski breaks out this weekend. So, oh my God, I think this is where Ryan's going. I think Yastrzemski's at bat last 2 games. We
Unbelievable.
do not talk about these pick to clicks. So I think Yastrzemski, the matchups are in his favor, and I think he may even go to the chop house this weekend.
Ken, you read my daggum mind, so now I'm going to have to downshift and pick something else.
You
Daggum.
take Riley.
I am. I'm taking big, thick Austin Riley for the second time in a row against Philly because he just loves seeing the Phillies come to town, or whether he's going to their town. He just loves beating the crap out of the Phillies, and I love Austin Riley for that. So I think Big Thick goes home. He sees his wife and his kids. He stops tinkering with his daggum swing, and he has a really good series against the Philadelphia Phillies this weekend.
I like it.
That's who I'm going with.
I like it.
But I will have everybody know I did have Mike Yastrzemski originally, but Mr. Ken took it. So, and it's no fun if we pick the same player anyway. So
No,
we got to switch it up.
if you'd have went Yaz, I would have probably went Riley too. Let's hope they both have. We both need both of them to go,
How about
and if they both get caught, now Walt Weiss, according to his last 2 interviews, thinks Ronnie's close, and Ronnie might have a big weekend. So just for fun, we'll let Walt Weiss pick Ronald Acuna this weekend. And that's your 3 picks to click this weekend. So y'all bet them, and because we don't gamble, but y'all bet them and see how y'all can make some money this weekend.
man? How about we have all three of those guys have a series like Michael Harris II did against the Nationals and Matt Olson did against the Nationals? That would be absolutely phenomenal. All right, so what is on deck? You guys have been asking for it all over Twitter, okay? I'm going to do it. Mr. Ronald Acuna Jr. breakdown is coming. It should be dropping. It should actually already be dropped. So if you haven't checked the video out, it's going to be on the Braves Hip Coil channel, and you can find that on YouTube. Or you can go to X and find my X account there at Braves Hip Coil or at Disgusting Braves Homer 27. We will be breaking down Ronald's swing. I didn't realize how much was actually wrong with his swing until I looked at it the other night, and me and Ken were both kind of shocked. So you get to look forward to that. And the state of the offense will be coming out next Monday. That's going to be another little short video. We're going to go into some statistics about the Braves offense and how good they have been, and the bad parts of the offense, and how much more room this offense has to get better. That's going to be a really entertaining video, so you're going to want to check that out. Ken, what are your final thoughts?
I love the way this team's hitting, and especially without probably three of our bigger guns. If you put the payroll of those three, that's three of the higher paid guys, Yaz and Acuna and Riley. So if they can get hot whenever the other six kind of slump off a little bit, this team will be raking through that stretch too. And this is one of the best Aprils we've ever had. So if you're not excited about this fan base, I don't try to talk negative about anybody, but some of you negative Nancy's, I think you just need to take the baseball season off because this team is really good and the offense really rakes and the pitching staff is doing what it needs to do to win games. This team has a chance to win a World Series, and if you haven't realized that yet, I keep hearing about the number of games we've played. Well, we've now played 26. We've now played 26. We've played 14% of the season, so I think it's time to put that to bed and let's go ahead and back the team and let's go Braves.
I agree, Ken. This team is absolutely fun to watch. Look, there is bad spots in it. I get it, but for you guys who just love to live on the negativity on this team, find a new hobby because it's getting really old, really freaking fast. You have a team that is 18-8. They're the best in the National League, and you actually can probably go all of Major League Baseball right now. And by the way, this offense that you complain about because Riley sucks, because Ronnie sucks, because everybody sucks, has a plus 62 run differential. That's the best in Major League Baseball. What do you want? They hit, they score, they walk, they do everything that you want an offense to do, and you're still complaining. Yes, there are some guys that can get going a little bit better, and they will. Calm down, okay? My final thought is, I am so glad I'm not a Philadelphia Phillies fan or New York Mets fan right now because, hell, we were that last year, and it sucked. So I'm glad you guys are getting a taste of it, you jerks. Ken, we are signing off. We will see you guys later.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.